Hello, people. Just got done walking the dog. You know it's winter, and you know it's walking a dog. You see the yellow snow of winter, if you know what I mean. Yeah, yeah. So does Penny. My dog Penny has an obsession with the yellow snow. Anyway, I thought I'd just do a short little video again, maybe 10 minutes, just about writing and other things that interest me. Because I meant to do it yesterday, but I didn't get around to it. I got busy doing nothing, being lazy, basically. I got. I found that I liked it anyway. But I forget if it was my junior. No, I think it was what grade? It might have been seventh or eighth, maybe. Mr. Deeps's class, I believe, got me into writing. The other teacher also another. This is when I was living in Hawaii, Honolulu Junior Academy, 76 to 78, if I remember correctly. I remember the year correctly. We were supposed to write a short story. I don't remember what the assignment was or why. And it was about the time Star Wars came out. I know that much because I incorporated a little bit of those things into my story. My story never ended. I just got into writing it and I just never stopped writing and was amused the teacher to no end. He gave me a passing grade because I kept writing it. It kept going and going, and it was an epic. It was somewhere between Journey to the Center of the Earth, Star Wars, and I think a lot of other books I probably read before that time, of course. But yeah, it was called. I don't remember what it was called, but anyway. But yes, that I think was when I wrote my first story. Kinda. I don't really count that one. The one I do count is the one I wrote when I was in my junior year of high school. Now, this was a literature class. This was a writing class with a French teacher. And yes, people, if you think French teacher, you are thinking what I'm thinking. Because she was. She was quite pretty and had that accent and actually was a pretty good teacher. Our assignment was to write a Edgar Allan Poe kind of story. Mine was called The Love of Death. I don't remember a lot of the story because this was just, I'm sorry, I'm 57 years old. I'm not going to remember everything. But it was about a guy hunting down either himself, because in the end you find out actually he's killing himself. He just doesn't know it. But he's hunting down what he thinks is his own father. I have no idea why I wrote it. Not sure why. At least not at that time, anyway. But that was kind of the premise of the story. This guy, it was supposed to be like, I think, a Telltale Heart of Edgar Allan Poe. That might have been because it was supposed to be a Poe kind of story. But I remember I finished it. I liked it. The teacher loved it. She thought it was great. She thought I could write such things as horror stories or ghost stories. I was good at it. Even my dad liked it, even though it did have me killing a dad-like character at the end or myself. That was kind of ambiguous. The story, yeah, I remember I was what, 13, 14 at the time? We're not talking here, genius level of writing. I have lots to learn. I still got 40 odd years to go. But yes, I remember that story. Honolulu, no, Kubasaki High School. I'm sorry. Kubasaki High School was on Okinawa, Japan. When I was there from 79 to 81. I've got to get these things. In fact, this is why I write things down, people. I get the timelines all messed up. But yes, this is when I lived on Okinawa, Japan. So it's Kubasaki High School. I remember two things about this school. And I know what some of you are thinking, because you should know this already. I started really liking getting into writing and redheads. This is where I first saw my first redhead. I'm sorry, people. Red hair, pale skin, blue eyes. Yeah, that was it. It was over. You brunettes, blondes, and everything else had not a chance. But anyway. But yeah, my first story was an Edgar Allan Poe kind of story. I'm trying to remember the details of it. I remember it took place, I think, in a park. Had a bridge in it. It's been too long, I'm sorry. But yeah, it was called The Love of Death. The French teacher was a French teacher. The assignment was an Edgar Allan Poe-like story, and it was an Edgar Allan Poe-like story. I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was very fun, actually. I hadn't read Stephen King yet. He wasn't famous yet. I didn't read Stephen King until I felt 80 or 81. And I read The Shining. I like The Shining. The Shining is a good book. This is his best book. Pet Sematary. But anyway. I've always liked writing. I started writing poetry when I was doing Okinawa, Japan. It was bad. It was horrible. It didn't rhyme. I didn't care about the rhyming part. I don't care. I'm sorry. You want poetry to rhyme, that's fine, but I'm not doing it. To me, poetry is about telling a story, and it doesn't have to rhyme. I'm sorry. Unless it's the rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, which is a whole completely different idea. Make sure that even rhymes, actually. Anyway. But, yeah, I got into poetry. Well, mainly I got into poetry because it was we'll just say it was a class, because I don't want to get into it. It's not important right now. But she thought I would be good at writing poetry, and I said, no, I don't want to write poetry. I don't like poetry. I started writing poetry because I started liking it, because I found something that was creative. And that's probably why I really started liking writing. I like being creative. I like books. That's why I like them. I like to write. I'm a people person. I'm a people person as long as I get to write about them. I'm not good around crowds, people. I'm sorry, I'm not. I'm really, really, really not good around crowds. Around a lot of people, I get uncomfortable. I just do. I just do. Around 1 or 2, 3, I'm fine. But anyway, I got into reading early, thanks to my mom. I read the basic ones, Robert Louis Stevenson, Stephen Crane, Jack London, Jules Verne, H.G. Wells, so on and so forth. One of my earlier stories was a Jack London kind of story, which I wrote for a cousin of mine, Jennifer. I didn't start really writing short stories until I moved to Orlando, Florida. But I'll get to that in some other video. I'm just going to do section videos on this subject. I like writing because it's creative, naturally. It is therapy. There's no doubt about it. Writing about things that bother you is good therapy. It can also get you in trouble, but then again, what life isn't. What life is about trouble. Life is about getting in and out of trouble. That's what literature is about. That's what writing is about. It's the creative process. It's trying to remember a quote, and it's just not coming to me right now. I'll remember it and write it down somewhere. But I've always enjoyed writing. I like reading. I don't go anywhere pretty much without a book. I used to take my notebook with me all the time to write stuff down. I haven't done that in a while, but I haven't really been able to do very much lately because got the whatever. Sorry, I have other thoughts on my head right now. I'm having a hard time focusing on one thing at one time at this moment. I have a Bible study to write my notes for later. That's right now, which is silly. I should just be focusing on this. But rambling insanity. Not all of them are going to be coherent. Some of them are just going to be me talking with no real central purpose except to talk. Anyway, I don't know. I remember the first book. I remember the first book that I think my mom gave me that I remember had any influence on me. I believe it was Roger Steig. I'll have to check the name. I may be getting his name. He's the guy who wrote the Shrek books. But this book was called Dominic, about the adventures of a dog. Like, cartoonish kind of dog. But still, I have the book somewhere in here. It's just, I'm not going to get up and go look for the book. I'll do it later. But yes, that was probably one of the earliest books I can remember reading. Was Dominic, about a dog, his adventures, and just It was, I'm sorry, I remember that book. I remember it being the first one. Um, I don't remember. I'm drawing a blank on other books, so I know there were others. I'd have to ask Mom. She'd know. I mean, as a kid, I used to read the encyclopedia. I used to read the dictionary just because I could, because I wanted to. I was a strange kid, people. Deal with it. I said that a lot, don't I? But anyway. Um, this one is a rambling one only because I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to do this format, I'm still not comfortable doing this. I'm still just not comfortable. Sorry. Need to get a cushion for this chair. But anyway. But I remember the first story I wrote, at least the first real story I ever wrote, was The Love of Death. It was Edgar Allan Poe, probably a little of Telltale Heart, maybe a few other influences, I don't know. I hadn't discovered H.P. Lovecraft yet. That wouldn't come for a long time. And I think at that time, Stephen King had only written one novel, and that was Carrie, which I must admit I've never actually read. I should read it at some point. Let's see. I got a little bit more time left. I guess I'm going to end this video only because it's rambling and it's messy. And I know what I'm trying to do. And I'm still learning all this. I'm still trying to figure things out. Which I'm sure is boring people. And I'm sure people are getting a good laugh at it. But that's okay. I don't care. Come on. If you can't laugh at yourself, you should laugh at other people. But I will chat at you later. I have notes to create. I have to get ready for tomorrow's Bible study. Yes, I do still study the Bible despite the fact I don't go to church anymore. That's a completely different video for which I will get into some other time. I have nothing against Christianity or the Bible or Jesus or God. I do have a lot of problems with the church, which is probably why a lot of my stories are about the church. But that's a different story, which I seem to keep hinting at. I am rambling. It's been a long day, people. A long day. And my crazy dog likes going outside in this cold. She's a good dog. She's a good dog. One of the better dogs I've had. I've had a lot. And she does like her pee. Okay, we're talking about a dog, and if she sniffs it, she's got to find it. I've stood there for 10 minutes. Or, that'd be an exaggeration, but you get the idea. The dog likes urine. She likes to smell. In fact, when she sees other dogs, she's happier to find out where they peed than the dog itself. Several dog friends she has. She gets more excited about where they went than them. She's a great dog. Wouldn't trade her for the world. Penny's a great dog. I should write a story about Penny. I have thought about that. I've written a few stories about a few friends of mine. I'll get into that at some other point. This video is already for 13 minutes. Oh well, I'm rambling. Get a good laugh, people. The rate the world's going, you gotta laugh at something, including oneself. The next one will be a little more coherent when I'm done getting the notes for the thing. And okay, have a good night, people. Stay safe. Take care of yourselves. Read a book. A real history book would be nice. Later.